Hi, friends. Welcome back to another Pick a Card Tarot reading. My name is JP, and this is Junodrome Tarot. So, today we're going to be doing a reading on what you need to hear right now. This moment, messages from your spirit team, guides, the universe, however you want to conceive of it. These are important messages for you in this moment. We're leaving it pretty open, pretty general, just to figure that out. So, a couple things before we dive into that. First thing, as I'm recording this, um, the situation in the Ukraine is happening, and it's pretty scary, and it's really intense. And so I just wanted to mention that my heart goes out to everyone who is involved in this conflict and to the whole world. I'm a firm believer in world peace, that we're all in this world together, and so we're all interconnected. And so my heart goes out to everyone involved in this, and I just felt like it was important for me to say something. The next thing is in my last reading, we had a drawing for celebrating 1,000 subscribers to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. It really does help out. For all of you who have subscribed so far, thank you so much. So I just want to announce the winners because I haven't done that on the channel yet. So a big congratulations to Linda and Anamika. Both of them have won a private reading with me, and then another congratulations to Bethany, who won the tarot care package. So if you still want a private reading with me, I do have them available on my website. You can find that information at junodrome.com. I'm going to keep the celebration discount going for a while, so I feel like the way the world is at the moment, I feel like I want to try to give as much access to my readings as I can. So please feel free to visit the website for those options. And there will be more giveaways and free things in the future as we continue to grow. So keep subscribe to the channel, keep tuning in, and I'm really excited to see where this channel goes. I've been growing it and working on it for almost 2 years now. I started it at the beginning of the pandemic. So we'll probably have some more giveaways for our 2-year anniversary in April. So stay tuned for that as well. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I like doing free readings. I think it's great. So anyway, without further ado, I'm about to show you the piles. There's 4 piles for you to choose from. So in a moment, I will show you the piles, and feel free to choose the pile that resonates with you the most. Just whichever pile is really jumping out at you as you look at them, that'll be your reading. And then down below, you will see chapter selections, so you can just hit the chapter that corresponds to the reading that you choose. Anyway, friends, global citizens, thank you so much for tuning in. I really do wish you peace. I wish you well. We are all in this together, regardless of what our governments do, those in power do. At the end of the day, we are all interconnected. We are all human beings here together, sharing this experience, and my heart goes out to all of you. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in your reading. Hi there, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the pile with this great little bear in the stream card here. And this is going to be your reading for what do you need to hear right now. Open messages from the universe, from spirit, from your spirit guides, team, angels, however you want to identify it. Stevie Nicks as the Madonna. I love this candle. Um, so yeah. So we're leaving it pretty open. Real quick before we start, there was a raffle that I had. If you are waiting for the results back on that, and you didn't listen to the intro, in the intro I'll tell you the results of that. So check that out for see if you were the winner on that. Yeah, let's dive right in. So this one's going to be a little different. I'm really excited to see how this goes because we do have a bunch of tarot cards, so we'll get to that at the end of the reading. But the first part I pulled from my various oracle decks. I got a few new ones and some other ones I haven't used before. So I'm hoping that this is going to show us, especially with this deck as well, some interesting symbols that aren't tarot to help me kind of shake things up a little bit and be on our toes. So I'm going to read all of these oracle cards, and then we'll get into some meanings, and then we'll do the tarot later. So actually, I will also read the back of this card. It's the bear, and the card says, "Be fierce, be gentle." So that's interesting. There's a little bit of a dichotomy going on there. Let's see what else we have. This is a new one for me. This is the Forest Fae deck. Really cute little forest spirits. And it says, "Seed spells, create your story. It is the most potent form of magic." So, really emphasizing your own individuality, your own story, being fierce and being gentle at the same time, your own combo of that. Next up, we have two cards from the. This is the Fairy Tale Lenormand. A lot of fairies going on here, which is great. That is that too. We have the child, personified by what are the three? Who in the three bears? Goldilocks. It's Goldilocks. And then we have the ship. Ooh, so maybe some travel, some inner child work, journeys, moving. The ship is this dragon ship from I think some Chinese fairy tale fable that I don't actually know. Next up, we have this is a new oracle deck for me that I got that I found at a thrift store. So I don't know the name of it, and there's no guidebook, so it's just a random collection of images, which is great. We really have all this open channeling of images here, and it's Penelope and Pickle. Cute. So there's this woman who's crying over this dog here, who, yeah, might be in trouble. But there's this huge awakening of the heart center going on here that's really big. Lots of green plant energy coming in here. Shamanic Healing Oracle, we have Perception. And then from the Healing with the Angels Oracle Guide, we have Spiritual Growth. Okay, so let's dive right into this reading here. I do think that there's a lot going on here. So I think that you're in a particularly potent period of your own personal spiritual growth here with the Spiritual Growth card. There's really this. I'm getting the feeling that you've been through some difficult situation relatively recently. This could be as recent or as far away as a few years. It's talking about the cycle, right? I think that this is particularly about the cycle that you've been in, that maybe you're either finishing or you've been in it for a while, or this is really potent on your mind. But there's been a certain situation and cycle going on in your life right now, pile number one, that has caused you to have to be more firm with your boundaries, be more understanding with your boundaries. There's been certain situations that have happened in your life where you've had to learn how to, like, what is the most appropriate version of you, and what I mean by that is like to become more comfortable in your own skin with yourself. What are those boundaries that you have, right? What do I mean by that? How do you interact with this world in a way that allows you to be fully in your own authenticity, to create your own story here. Um, but then also interact with the world, right? Where does that leave you? So like, you've been tested in this cycle, um, in different personal situations that you've been through that have forced you to have to reckon with how other people react to you, and how those reactions that you're faced with affect you, right? So you know, there's this. I've been doing some Buddhist meditation learning recently, and there's this really amazing part of meditation practice in general and mindfulness is learning um, how to let go of needing to control the outside world, and understanding that we don't have control over what somebody else does, but we do have control over what our reaction is to that. And actually that's where our power lies. Our power lies in how are we going to react to those external circumstances. And so I think that this particular cycle that you've been through, pile number one, has been one that has forced you to reckon with how how those interactions work, right? Like I was saying, you can't necessarily control what other people are going to do to you, in the sense of how other people are going to um, show up in your life, how they're going to um, act towards you, right? And same with not just people. This is also circumstances. Life throws crazy things at us. We have these difficult challenges that we have to face as human beings and as individuals, and that's just a part of being alive on the planet. And so, like I was saying, it's less to do with you know, trying to make it so that nothing bad will ever happen to you again, because that's a bit unrealistic, right? We can't guarantee that. As much as we can, um, you know, try to set up our lives as safe and as solid and as stable as we can, that change is an inevitable part of this reality. And in fact, it is the only constant thing in this reality, is that it will continue to change. And so it's less about trying to control everything that's on the outside and more about um, learning how to roll with it, learning how to flow with life, learning um, how to control our reactions, to be less reactionary. And I think that life has thrown these circumstances to you. With this child card, um, I just want to go back to it because I keep looking at it and it's jumping out at me. Um, I think that certain things have happened in your childhood that have put you into the position um, where you've had difficulty with this sort of thing that I've been talking about, and so that this particular cycle in your life is forced you to reckon with it. A lot of times, the patterns that we have as adults are set during our childhood and how we grow up and the dynamic that we grow up in, our family units, the society and culture and communities that we are a part of. In our younger years, deeply, deeply affect the way that we perceive, with the perception card here, the world around us. And I think right now you're in one of these moments. Like I said, um, this may have been the last few years, this may have been the last few months, this may be where you are at this particular moment. So take it as it resonates for you, pal number one. But, with this perception card, it, I feel as though these assumptions that have been built in childhood for you are really being tested and reckoned with for you here. And I think that you're being forced to question some of these assumptions, in how you interact with the world. It's forcing you to once again, it's really going back into your own authenticity, with that seed spell. growing from your own authenticity. And so once you start to connect into that, right, we have an awakening of the heart center. So I think that that's what's happening for you now, whether this is has already happened, you've been coming in and out of it. I think a lot of times, it's important to remember that life works in these sort of spirals, this spiral pattern, spiral cycles. So, you may have been slowly connecting to this awakening point, or this heart-centered awakening, heart-centered interconnectedness. I'll talk about this in a minute here, but you might be spiraling through it, right? So it's like flickering on and off, and then like becoming more powerful the more it flickers on, right? Um, so like over time, this is a slow awakening, a slow building. That's kind of what I'm feeling. And so, it's important to remember, yeah, like in a second, I'm going to talk about what heart-centered stuff is all about. But it's important to remember that as you are coming into this sense of, right, be fierce, be gentle, coming into your own authenticity, it's perfectly natural for this to be an in and out sort of a thing as you come into this awareness, right? So don't be too hard on yourself for maybe like falling back on old patterns here with the child and the perception card. It's important to remember that like life is a balance, and when we are training our brains in certain things like mindfulness training, which simply means becoming aware of our thoughts and understanding that we have the ability to train our minds and our brains into we can't necessarily stop um, all all unpleasant thoughts from coming into our minds, because that's just a natural part of being human. We have all different types of thoughts. It's more about learning how to forgive ourselves for having these mental states, and moving into a place of calm, and a place of acceptance. But also, it's the sort of thing. It's like in meditation practice, I just keep coming back to this, I think, because I've been working a lot on this in the short recentness. So I'm sharing it with you as I'm learning it too. Um, One really important thing about meditation, right, is that oftentimes, when a lot of people think about meditating, we think like, oh, it means the goal is to try to not think at all. But that's not realistic, right? We always think. It's just a part of our brains. And so it's when you're meditating, instead of when you lose yourself, what you do is you think like, oh, hey, I'm meditating. Once you see that you've gone off on a thought tangent, and you just say, okay, I'm coming back. Hey, I'm meditating. Let's come back, and then you focus on your breathing again or whatever. So, like, what do I mean by that in this reading? I mean like. This kind of thing can be applied to other parts of your life, right? In the sense that, as you become more and more in your own authenticity and growing into your own sense of self, right? I think that you probably have moments, right, where you feel like you're 100% in it and you're 100% on. And then you have other moments where it's not there. Um, and then oftentimes, what can happen sometimes is when you come back into being back fully present in yourself, it can be really easy to then, sort of shame yourself and say, oh my God, I can't believe I lost it. Oh God, I fell behind again. I fell off the wagon or whatever. But in reality, pile number one, um, it's a spiral, right? It's a spiral. It's not linear. Time isn't linear. So when you're coming in and out of it, um, just like in the meditation analogy, we can't stop the thinking. It always, so you're always gonna. There's always gonna be slips. You're always gonna slip. But it's less about. Um, it's less about the slipping and more about the coming back. And in fact, um, a lot of the meditation teachers I've been listening to recently have talked about how um, it's the coming back part of it that is, the most important thing. Like, and that is the building of it. Like, that is the building of it. So it's an achievement to be coming back into it, less than it is a detriment to be falling out of it. Does that make sense? So, and especially too, it's like I said, it's these neural pathways that you're building too. As you're changing your mind, you're changing your brain as we try to move out of these old childhood habits. um, it's these are neural pathways that we built at a deeply impressionable period of our brain developments, right? So, like, it's a little unrealistic to expect immediate uh, and total and complete transformation of those things, right? So like I said, it's the more that you realize that you are coming back into it, and you celebrate yourself, right? You give, like, little treats, right, as you're building that, and really share that self compassion with yourself, celebrating coming back into self awareness. That is the spiritual growth here. Now, let me talk about heart centered awakening, because I think that's a big part of this too, right? A huge thing that I think you're either open to right now, maybe you've already been working with this, working with the heart chakra, or there's so many different words and language that we can use for this. But the biggest thing is sort of understanding that our thinking mind is not all that we are. And in fact, we have the heart awareness as well. And so when you bring your focus into your heart, like literally into your heart, the center of your chest, let's say physically. Let's say you can imagine, if you were to imagine a little elevator, because when you think about yourself, right, and especially in our modern society, as we exist right now, when you think about the self, like if I were to ask you the question, where are you located in your body, right? Where is the you in your body? Um, what would you answer that? Did you think your mind? Because, or like your head, your brain? That's where our modern society goes to most of the time. We think like, oh, my mind. That's where I am. I'm up here, and we think about like, where am I? I think about like maybe my forehead. So imagine instead, right, that awareness where I am. Imagine it getting on a little elevator and going down, from the center of your forehead, down through your throat, down, and then through your chest into the center of your chest. Not necessarily where your heart physically is, but the very center of your chest. So including your heart, but all around the center. So now I'm imagining that my center of being, my very self, is in the heart center. And so when you start to do that, right, and start to awaken the heart chakra, awaken the heart center, it's also where the seat of your compassion is. There's an incredible awakening and power that comes into that. That this sort of it's called like loving kindness. I've heard the term, heart-centered awareness, this kind of thing. Like the more that you start to move your center of self into this position, the more you come into the sense of interconnectedness with the whole world, right? And this is sort of where some of this deep spiritual awakening can come. This sense of interconnectedness with all things can help alleviate a sense of separateness with the world, alleviate a sense of disconnection, and reconnect you to who you are, and to the fact that we are all interconnected. We are all kind of like one being existing together. All things, um, light and energy, existing as one thing. So yeah. Anyway. Let's take a look at the tarot now. That's been really powerful with these cards here. Um, so I'm gonna move these aside, and we'll take the tarot out because there's a lot of tarot cards. So I might just move all these, and we can always come back to them if we need to. So we have from the Herbal Tarot. I'm just gonna pull all the tarot out because we've already been pretty long reading so far. Five of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, This may just literally be a repeat of everything I just said. Page of Swords, the High Priest. Ooh, interesting. Which is the Hierophant in most decks, I think. The Three of Cups. And then from the Wild Unknown Tarot, we have the Two of Wands, the Father of Cups, which is the King of Cups in most decks, the Nine of Swords. Okay, yep. And the Mother of Swords, interesting, which is the Queen of Swords in most decks. So I really do think there's two things coming on here, which I highlighted in the last reading, but are deeply repeated. So I do think that you're at the beginning of a new cycle now, and this new cycle has come from these past circumstances that I was talking about. You know, with this Five of Pentacles here, um, of like going through a really dark and not, yeah, sometimes somewhat dark and difficult situation that has brought you to a sort of sense of rock bottom. But you've come out through the other end of that. Because the Five of Pentacles talks about this sort of spiritual transformation that can happen when we're at the lowest point, right? There's a certain amount of lessons that come in when we have sort of exasperated all options, looking for answers from the outside. When there's just nothing coming from the outside anymore, there's nowhere left to turn, and we feel like we're at the bottom. Then we turn in, we turn within, we turn on into the inside, and I think as a part of this heart-centered awakeness can come from this too, is like connecting into the inner knowledge, the wisdom that exists within you, the knowledge that can help guide you through this existence that exists that nobody can tell you. It's the stuff that you have to come into understanding that comes from the inside. Sensational awareness that comes, like I said, when you've exhausted all other options and you kind of like have this turn to the universe moment, and the universe answers back, right? That's kind of what the Five of Pentacles can talk about. And with the Ace of Pentacles here, it talks about, I think you're in that new journey, right? The universe has now given you this new awareness, and it's a new thought process with the Page of Swords. And a part of that now comes with the Mother of Swords. It's like learning, like I started with that sort of boundaries setting, learning to say no to certain things in situations, learning where to cut things off. And I think by doing that, like I said, it's less about trying to stop the outside world from hurting you and more about knowing when, like, yeah, knowing where to say no, but also, you know, where to say yes. Having the confidence to know that in the situations you know how to react. You've built this sort of sense of reactions from a positive standpoint where you can be confident in training yourself to react from this place of not a reactionary place, but a place of of deeper understanding. And so this Nine of Swords, which talks about this sort of um, difficult thoughts, right? Anxiety. And I think that knee-jerk reactions that we can have to the outside world and to the inside world, you know, the inner thoughts that continue to race over and over again and bring you to the most difficult and challenging situations, like that kind of thing. Learning how to detach from that, and show yourself compassion with this Father of Cups. I think that's a big part of where you've been and what you're doing. And because of that, now you're at this Two of Cups or Two of Wands, which is like ready to journey off, ready to set sail into the next situation, which, you know, is really aligned with this Ships card here too. I do think there's a certain sense of traveling now. So maybe there is actual physical movement here for you, pile number one. Take that as it resonates. But it can also talk about these inward journeys. And I think that's a huge thing for you, is you're either starting to do this work or at the precipice of starting this work, or you've already been doing this for a bit. There's this deep inner journey that is here and present for you, pile number one, that, like I said, it's the wisdom within, learning the wisdom within. There's this really great book called The Alchemist by Paulo Cowheel. I'm really bad with his last name, so sorry about that. But it's a great book. I think he's either Spanish or Portuguese, and it was written in the 80s. But it's incredible. It can talk about this sort of thing. It's like all about this journey of this sheep herder from England who dreamed about going to northern Africa and decides to go off and do it and go off and journey. And it talks about his whole development in this mystical journey to learn how to perceive this interconnectedness with the universe itself. It's a great book. It's a short read. I deeply recommend it. It's a pretty great spiritual lessons involved in it. But it, it just reminded me of that because it's like at a certain point, I don't want to give away the book, but at a certain point, he learns how to go within and see through the external his internal landscape. And so I think that there's an initiation here for you, especially with this high priest as well, that you kind of are the high priest, right? Which is this ancient wisdom, but it's the ancient wisdom that we gain within ourselves, if that makes any sense. He's holding the Ankh here, which is a kind of a symbol of this. It's a lot of these spiritual traditions date back to these really, really, really ancient practices of learning how to connect to this inner wisdom that we have as human beings. It can get lost in translation through most of these wisdom traditions. There's still the truth there, but a lot of it's experiential, right? And so it's sort of like you can read the Bible, but the I think my camera died. I'm just going to keep this reading going. So it's audio only now. But you can read the Bible, right? But most people are going to take a literal translation of it instead of the deeper mysticism that's involved, right? Or whatever. I'm not a Christian, so I don't actually know the Bible all that well. But take it as it resonates. There's any religion, can become dogmatic, and it's less about that and more about the inner wisdom, the inner spiritual wisdom that exists underneath it. And you can't, in order to learn how to tap into that, you have to learn how to tap into your own spiritual interconnectedness. And a part of that is where this heart-centered existence is. It's like it's like when you turn that center on, you come into a sense of awareness, this sense of interconnectedness with the universe, where you start to see the signs and the symbols that are interacting with you and you interacting with the world around you, right? That the inner and the outer exist together, and the as above, so below, all of that kind of stuff, the Kabbalistic stuff, or whatever. It's tough for me to describe because it's sort of a lot of it's experiential too, right? But I do feel like that this particular stuff is present for you, pile number one, and it's open for you to really connect into it. So open yourself up to a deeper spiritual wisdom and learning that's coming from your own day-to-day existence. And I think that's a big thing of it too, is that a lot of times like learning how to see the challenges and difficulties that come into your life as these spiritual lessons that are teaching you and training you how to level up as a spiritual being, right? And that's a kind of in a sense of what karma is in general, like that our karma is our own actions reflected back to us. And so, as things are reflected back to you, what is this thing teaching me and showing me, and how can I grow and adapt from this? How can I not just knee jerk react to these situations, but how can I move myself in such a way um, where I'm gaining wisdom from this, and I'm also acting from my own authenticity and integrity in a way that makes me feel proud of myself and comfortable in the world, in a way where I feel set in my own sense of individuality. I don't feel like I'm forcing too much. I don't feel like I'm being forced too much, right? That's that sense of balance. And this perception card, I know you can't see it right now, pile number 1, but it's got the yin and yang symbol, which if you've seen it before, it's the circle with the white and the black together. And that there's a little bit of white in the black and a little bit of black in the white, showing that we're all in this balance, and that the positive, even in the most positive forces, there's a little bit of negativity always there. Even in the most negative place, there's always a little bit of that positive, that they exist together in this sort of non-dualistic existence, right? You could look at those terms. Non-dualism is really interesting, but that's sort of where we all are, and it takes a little bit of deep experiential learning sometimes to actually grasp these concepts. And that's the thing of it too, is that the universe around you is constantly teaching you these lessons of these larger spiritual understandings of things. And so it's up to you to learn how to change your perspective with this Page of Swords, to one in which you are allowing yourself to see that. And like I said, a lot of times it's slowing down out of the knee-jerk reaction, taking a step back, trying to look at things from a bigger perspective. And this is the biggest perspective I think you can look at, this sort of almost cosmic perspective, and start to see like, okay, I see that this thing is happening, and I'm now seeing, this is where mindfulness comes in, I'm now seeing what my reaction is to this. Once I start to learn how to watch my thoughts, um, I'm seeing that this thing that this person did is making me feel this way and making me want to react this way. What does that say about me? Going back to that child card, what about my childhood is this bringing up in me? How can I learn to undo these things? How can I work myself out of this situation? So yeah, I think that that's a big part of what this cycle that you're in or about to complete or starting now. Take it as it resonates, but this is where you are right now, and that's what you needed to hear right now. So yeah, pile number 1 turned out to be a pretty long reading, I think. Oh, no, you're 30, a little over 30 minutes. That's pretty good, actually. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of it either way. I love hearing from everybody. We're still at the very end of my 1,000 subscriber celebration period. So if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. It really helps. For everyone who has subscribed recently, a huge, huge, huge thanks. I'm so grateful for you for doing that. It helps the channel grow. The more that you like and subscribe to this channel, the more that it gets out to more people, and I can help share this wisdom with everyone, and I'm honored to do so. If you want a private reading from me at all, they are available on my website at www.junodrome.com. For the remainder of the month of February, I will continue my discounted private readings, so you can get the celebration discount available on there now. Feel free to check that out. And yeah, I'm going to leave you there, pile number 1. I hope that you are having a wonderful day, and I am sending my deep thoughts of peace to you and to all sentient beings. And together, as we come together, hopefully we can all propagate peace among our fellow human citizens here in trying difficult times, peace is always the path forward, even if it is the most challenging path forward, kind of as we were talking about. It still is, I think, the most personally satisfying path forward and the ultimate destiny of humanity if we so choose it. I personally choose it, and I invite you to choose it along with me. Anyway, pile number 1. I will catch you later. Bye. Hi there, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. So, if you were looking for the results of my giveaway, huge congratulations to the winners. You can find out if you won in the intro of this section if you didn't already listen to it. So, let's dive right in here. So, this is going to be a reading on what do you need to hear. So, it's a very open messages from your guides and angels, spirits. And the difference between how I'm doing this week is I have a lot of oracle cards that I'm going to start with, and then we'll get into the tarot after that. I think that's how I ran the last one, and it worked really interesting. So just as in a way to kind of switch things up for me and do something different. So I have a bunch of different oracle decks here today, and we'll read all of those first, and then we'll get channeled messages from that. That's what I did for pile number 1. And then we'll tune into the tarot as well to get a better understanding of things. So the first off, you chose the pile with these flowers here. And what does it say? It says, may your life be full of love, adventures, and wildflowers. So definitely some love messages, but also adventuring makes me think of travel. So potentially you have some travel in your future. Let's take a look at the rest of these cards here. From the Forest Fae deck, a new deck I got that kind of inspired me to do this oracle deck kind of reading here. Little fun little forest is messages. We have the Forest Walker, and it says, keep courage, be gentle. So a sense of love, gentleness, and keeping courage as well. Maybe there's a certain sense of bravery in making a decision potentially, or taking certain actions, but doing so from a very gentle place. This comes from the fairy tale Lenormand, and we have the whip, which to me is sort of like whipping into action, right? So there is some action, I think, being asked of you here. Potentially for going someplace, going for it, taking action, being brave, taking the steps you need to take. This comes from some deck that I found at a thrift store, so I didn't have the box or the guide to it, but it's just kind of some random cards, which I like because it keeps it real open. We don't know what the intention was for these, so we can just kind of put whatever meaning we need to from them. And it's the Crimson Dreams. Interesting. So let's see here. Oh, wow, I'm getting some powerful messages from this. So you see, this is an older woman, but she's kind of got this reverberation coming out from her. And we're in this sort of winter scene. And to me, I think it's sort of like we're getting a very clear message from this. There's an importance of taking action towards something, being courageous, because you don't want to miss out, right? Like, look at her. She's kind of like, I'm getting this sort of regrets, right? Wishing that I had done something differently when I was younger, sort of a thing. So, you really are, you're being encouraged to take these adventurous steps, asking yourself, how can you add more adventure into your life? And, I think in order to do that, you really are being encouraged to take these actions. I don't know what it is. There's an action that in your life that's being asked of you, and there's a deep importance for you to honor those, honor your dreams, honor those crimson dreams of yours. Right? Don't let yourself come to the point in your life where you regret not doing something. Like really kind of, and remember, be gentle. You can take your time with this. You definitely can take your time, but there is this sort of whipping into action, lightning bolt sort of an energy coming into this reading. We've got struggle. Interesting. So you potentially could be in sort of this struggle energy a little bit here, and I'll get into that in a minute. And then the final card comes from the Angel Oracle deck. That was from the Shamanic Healing oracle, by the way. And your final oracle card is this one, dreams. Yeah, okay. So I do think we got dreams twice. So potentially too, you might be getting signs and synchronicities in your dreams on directions and actions to take. So really keep that in mind. Um, I don't know if you keep a dream journal at all, or or you have any kind of dream things. But before you go to bed, if you don't have a dream um, routine, it can be really helpful to just sort of put the intention before going to sleep. Like, I would like to remember my dreams. I ask my guides and angels and those helping me to help give me messages and signs and synchronicities in my dreams. And I ask for your help in remembering those things. I do that. I try to do it every night, but I do it every couple of nights, and it works out. Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night with these dreams and messages, and then I write them down because they're really helpful. So just pay attention to your own dreams. But I think the other meaning in this is that there's a certain dream or aspiration that you have that's asking you to be more adventurous in your life, and filled with love. So potentially, loving yourself enough to go after the things that you want is a big message in this. And it's sort of like, with this, it's like you can be gentle with it, right? It doesn't have to be, you know, when you have big dreams and big goals and big things that you want to try to make happen in life, sometimes that can be really overwhelming. If the bigger the goal, the bigger the dream, the more overwhelming it can be sometimes. And so the big message in this is it's less about trying to make everything happen, trying to know how everything's going to happen, because you can't know, right? You don't have to plan everything in the future. You don't have to plan for every eventuality and every outcome. Instead, just take one little step at a time, right? Have the courage and the bravery to take the next step. And I do feel like you're being called to take another step towards your dreams here, and that you've been stuck a little bit in this struggle energy, which can talk about how, sometimes life is a struggle and things are situations are difficult, and that's going to just happen. That's a part of life. But how you respond to that is the most important aspect, right? It's less important for you, like, just the struggles are going to happen one way or another. It's more important on how you approach those struggles, right? If you take a struggle that comes into your life and you ask, okay, what is this teaching me? What is this difficult situation showing me? What is the part of this struggle telling me here? And oftentimes there will be a deeper lesson involved, and then actually when you allow yourself to see that deeper lesson in whatever this struggle is, then it can dissipate and you can move through it much easier. Sometimes this card can talk about how sometimes it's easy to get lost in the loop of sometimes like a wallowing kind of an energy, just in the sense of like, oh, I'm not doing well right now, and so I'm using that to see every little tiny possible aspect of things that aren't going well right now. And now I'm going to continue that. And, oh, this isn't going right because of X, Y, and Z. And now that means that this isn't going right and that's not going right. And you can get really lost in that kind of a thought loop, right? And that kind of a struggle bus, right? Where you just keep, it's like a spiral, right? And so this card is talking about how, well, okay, like, there might be a step back that needs to happen, right? Because like I said, these actions, you don't have to do it all at once, right? And maybe I do feel a certain sense of overwhelming here, and a fear with this Crimson Dream as well, a fear of not being able to get things done, right? And a fear of having regrets later on in life, and that can be paralyzing sometimes too. And so it's sort of like, you can make this stuff happen, right? Your dreams are here for a reason. Your goals and dreams and aspirations, they're here because that they're hints from the universe on what you came here to do in life, right? What your soul is craving to actualize and experience with this lifetime. And so you have the opportunity to really make those things happen. And it's less, like I said, it's less about trying to plan out at all every little last aspect, because that's going to make you feel overwhelmed. And it's more about taking it one little baby step at a time, one day at a time. We only have one moment at a time. We can never come up with every possibility and every outcome of what things are going to be. It's not possible. Instead, we have to take it one moment at a time. So now we're going to read the tarot here. We've got two different tarot decks. The first one is the Herbal Tarot. We've got Medicine Wheel, which is, I think, the Wheel of Fortune in most decks. That's cool. I haven't picked it out from this deck before. That's beautiful. There's a very healing element to this that isn't in the normal card. We've got the Knight of Wands. We've got the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, Eight of Pentacles is great. And then we have the Seven of Wands. Interesting. So I do feel with the Seven of Wands in particular, you really are overcoming the struggle energy, right? I view the 5, 7, and 9 of Wands are all a set in series with each other, and the 7 is in the middle. The 5 is this fight energy where all of the people fighting are completely stuck and there is no moving forward. The 7 is where one part of the energy is finally coming out on top and finally overcoming, finally coming into the steps where they're overcoming the struggle. And the 9 of Wands is this sort of, I have been through it, I've been through this struggle, and now I am wiser and stronger from these struggles. So you're at the 7 of Wands point in that, which is really talking about overcoming it. So you're at the aspect now where, these difficulties, these situations, you may still be feeling some reverberations from past situations, but I do feel like you've already done the hard part, right? You've already overcome a lot. And so you don't need to worry about it going backward, right? I think sometimes we can be afraid if we've done a lot of work and we've moved really far in life and we've been through these difficulties and we've been through these situations. There can be that fear of, especially with this Crimson Dream here too, we can have the fear of oh no, is it going to come back to this? Am I going back into it? But with the Eight of Pentacles, it's really showing that no, you've put in an incredible amount of work here, right? You've already done a lot of work. You've already moved through the most difficult parts of the situation. And so you do have the Wheel of Fortune here. And the Medicine Wheel is that aspect of healing to it as well. So it's like, you have a fortunate opening for you moving forward, and it's one of healing for yourself as well. And that, as you follow these passions and these inspirations with the Knight of Wands, which talks about moving in a certain direction, right? It's the movement of the energy in the reading, and it's in the movement towards your passions and your drives and those things that really light you up, your inspirations in life. As you continue to follow those aspirations, follow those dreams, be unafraid, be courageous in following those, be adventurous in your life, opening yourself to this adventurous spirit. As you do that, you open for yourself the ability to open it up, to really achieve those, to actualize those dreams. Like I said, that's well within your capacity. It's well within your ability, and I do see that being a dominant outcome for you. It's just a matter of you having the courage to do it, having the courage to take the steps necessary to bring this into reality, taking the actions when they come up. But the thing about action as well is that, like, you don't need to know every single action moving forward towards your dreams. You don't need that. You don't need to have a full and complete blueprint of, okay, I'm doing this, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that, and then that's going to happen, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that, but I need to be ready for this just in case, and I need to do this and that. And you don't need all of that in the mental body. You don't need that to be fully in that. All you need to do is say, this is the general aspect of what I want. I'm open to this thing to change and move wherever it needs to. I'm open to this thing to become whatever it needs to. I understand that there's no way for me as a human being in a limited being in a limited time to fully grasp and understand the full aspect of what this will be. So I'm open to it changing and developing into something greater than I could ever imagine. But I'm going to take this step right now towards it. And I know that this one small step today will bring me closer to where I want to go. I don't need to do anything more than take this one small step today. And that's it. That's all you have to do. And then you have to keep taking those steps as they come, but you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to do it tomorrow if you do it today, right? Because today is all you have to think about. Today, this moment right here, right now, is all that is. So if you continue to show up in this moment, um, you can have faith and trust that you'll continue to do it tomorrow, right? And then if you slip tomorrow, right, because we're all human, um, it's less about it's less about the slipping and more about the getting back up again, right? So it's okay if you slip tomorrow and you fall off the wagon and you take a couple days or you take a couple weeks and stuff doesn't happen. It's less of a problem if you are committed to this dream and you are committed to getting back up and you are committed to taking each step. But there really is, and we got a horn for confirmation for that. There really is action required, though. With that whip, it's like you do need to take these actions, but you don't have to let it be overwhelming, because you can take it one little step at a time. And you can take your time, right? You can have patience with this. Take your time. It's more important to do so. This doesn't need to happen all at once. This doesn't even need to happen all in 1 year. You know what I mean? It can happen over time. But the only way that it will happen over time is if you consistently keep putting the work into it. But like I said before, if you slip and if you fall, it's more important that you keep getting back up again and less important that you've slipped. So you don't need to let a slip or a struggle, the struggle bus here, right? You don't need to let that spiral mean that you can never achieve these things. It's just a matter of if you fall, can you pick yourself back up again? So the final tarot cards come from the Wild Unknown Tarot. And I should have room in the camera to put these up here. So hopefully you see these. We've got the Ten of Swords. Yeah, I do feel that energy from you. Pretty hardcore. And we'll get into that. It is nothing to be worried about. But we also have the Ten of Pentacles. Wow. So that's a real... they are complete opposites, and that's great. It's nice that they showed up together because it's exactly what we've been talking about. And you've got the Four of Wands. Yeah. Okay. And then you have the Magician. Yeah. So, even on the days where you are feeling at your lowest, right? Because they come, right? We are human beings. We go through difficult situations. The world is in such a catastrophic place sometimes. It's especially with the media landscape and just, in general, we feel the catastrophe so viscerally right now. Whether or not this is a more catastrophic time in history than it's ever been, the moment right now feels catastrophic because we're so connected, we're so entwined, we're so present, and we have access to everything on our fingertips all the time, always. So we are constantly inundated with the most difficult situations. So we can feel this struggle energy. It's all around us, and so it's the thing about the Ten of Swords. It's this sort of like defeated, stabbed to death energy. It doesn't mean that you are stabbed to death, though, right? It actually more means this sort of dramatic energy. It's when you feel it overwhelmingly. With that, like I was talking about in the struggle card, where it's like it's these moments where we compound our unpleasant feelings, and emotions. In order for emotions to go away, we have to feel them. We have to acknowledge them. We have to be present with them. So if you are in a moment of feeling not so great, it's okay to do that. Like you have to allow yourself to feel those things in order for you to move forward. So if you need to take some time out and really feel some difficult emotions, please do that. That's how you move through it. But like I said, you also don't have to allow these things to become your entire reality, right? it's important to have the part of you present in your mind that is experiencing those things from a distance and say, I'm here for you. I'm connected to the universe. I'm connected to love. I'm connected to my courage and my spirit, and I'm here for me in however I need to move through this world. And so, you do have that present for you. But like I said, it's dramatic. So it's like sometimes it can feel a lot worse than things actually are. And for you to have the 10 of Pentacles next to you, you know, don't focus on the things, the small little things that aren't going right, right? Focus on what it is you're bringing into this world and what did you accomplish today? Ask yourself that. Like part of my own dreams last night, I got the great message from my spirit team and ancestral team and those helping me out. Of like, what are you affirming to yourself every day, right? What are your big A's? That's what I got. What are your big A's? What are your big affirmations? And every single day, what are those? What are you affirming? I am, for me, some of those, these don't have to be yours. Think of them for yourself, right? It's important for you to come up with your own things here. For me, some of it is I am a creative person. And I express my creativity viscerally. So that's a big aspiration for me, So I'm writing that down now and saying, okay, what did I do today to affirm to myself that I am a creative individual? Did I do anything? Am I taking actions towards that big affirmation? So what are those for you? I am I am compassionate spirit. I'm a compassionate individual. So how did I express my compassion today? And so, yeah, that's a brand new practice for me that I'm trying, but it was a really wonderful one that I got from Spirit. So, that's a part of this abundance energy. Abundance flows into your being, into your life when you are in the energy of abundance. And what does that mean? That means being, how are you affirming to yourself every day, even if it's a small little thing? How did I affirm to myself that I am abundant? What did I do? How did I show up? What did I do to show up as an abundant being? How did I think? What did I flow towards? What was I open to, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be I bought something for myself. You're like, no, it doesn't have to be that at all. It could be I reaffirm to myself that I am, living in a beautiful place, and I have this beautiful stability for myself because I have a roof over my head, this kind of thing. And the more that you do that, the more you're going to feel like you're at home to yourself, right? Because you have the homecoming card here with the Four of Wands. And with the Magician, it really is coming to say that you are capable of creating any life for yourself that you want. Any life that you want to live, any dream that you want to express. What is that dream? How do you want to, and then hold that as your big affirmation, right? And what did you do today towards that dream? And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be a giant action. It can be something small. It can be a small little thing. Like, okay, I did this one thing today, my dream is to be a stage actor. Okay, maybe that's a big dream of mine. So today I looked at some monologues. Right, I just read through. Or today I watched a play on YouTube, or whatever it is for you. That doesn't have to be your dream. Maybe that's my dream. I don't know. It was an old dream once upon a time. But that's the thing, opening yourself up to that, right? Whatever it is for you. My dream is to create a beautiful series of drawings that express how I'm feeling. Okay, so if that's a big dream of mine, maybe today I didn't do too much, but I started doing a little bit of sketching. Just some open sketching, and I did that a little bit today. So that's great, It's like taking those small actions, and it doesn't have to be huge. And maybe you have a ton of dreams, and maybe you have a lot of things. And so, maybe a part of my actions today was I wrote all of these things down, and I looked at, okay, well, I can't do it all at once, so what am I going to do today, right? And I chose a little thing, and I feel better because my big aspiration, right? My big affirmation Rather, is that I'm a creative individual. So, yeah. So you got the dreams, your aspirations, and you got the affirmations. So keeping those open to both, right? Anyway, pile number 2, I'm going to leave you there. That was a really powerful reading. So I hope that it resonated with you. I hope that it helped you out. And let me know in the comments what you think either way. I think that was a really wonderful reading. Like I said before, congratulations to the winners of my contests. You can find out who won by watching the intro of this video. And I'm going to continue my discounted private readings for a little bit longer. I don't know how long it's going to be discounted, but for the time being, I'm going to continue it. So if you would like a private reading from me and you did not win the contest, feel free to enter the contest. Or sorry, feel free to go on to the website at junodrum.com and check out my rates and sign up for a reading. So anyway, pile number 2, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye! Hi, friends. Welcome back to another Pick a Card Tarot reading. My name is JP, and this is Junodrum Tarot. Couple of things to start out. Just my thoughts and prayers are going out for the people of the world, the people of the Ukraine in particular. And so my thoughts are with you. I think the world's thoughts are with all of you, and deeply hoping that we can come into peace however we can. At the same time, too, now, another thing I just wanted to bring up was that we had a contest that I haven't announced the winners for. I announced the winners in the intro of this section, of this reading. So if you wanted to know about the results, you can go to the intro to find those out. So now let's just dive right in. This is going to be messages that you need to hear right now. We're leaving them very open. General messages to try to get a good understanding on information that we need for everyone. So you chose the pile with the bat here. And the bat says on the back, embrace the dark. Okay, so this might be some shadow work, right? Sometimes, you know, especially in the spiritual community, we can sort of run away from things that we're perceived as quote unquote dark, darkness in general. And this isn't saying that you have to like totally, you know, become a black magic person or whatever, right? Because that can get it. That's its own problem. But you know, shadow work is a thing that we all need to do. We need to embrace the parts of ourselves that are challenging, and bring them into the light, bring them into the open, so that we can understand what these hidden things are. And you know, in a sense, globally, we're going through this very big period of global shadow work, and so this is being reflected in your own lives. Probably in this moment, pile number 3. So we have a bunch of tarot cards as well as a bunch of oracle cards. This reading I'm doing a little bit differently than some of my others because I have a bunch of oracle decks right now, and I wanted to use them all to get sort of a different sort of message than the tarot stuff, and then we'll jump into the tarot to get a better understanding. So I'm going to read out all of the oracle cards we have first, and then we'll get into the reading here. We've got this card from the Forest Fae deck, a new deck of mine, and it's the Mandrake Spirit. Keep yourself rooted in the earth. Spring is coming. Dream deep. Interesting. Mandrake is the root that looks like a human, right? I can't remember what the mandrake plant is supposed to symbolize. It's supposed to symbolize something, some form of magic, but also keeping yourself deep and rooted in the earth. I think that potentially what could help you in this moment is doing some root chakra meditation, earth planting. I can't remember. There's a word for this that is not coming to mind right now. Grounding. Yes, some grounding energy I think is really, really called for in this moment, particularly if you are facing some shadow aspects within yourself. You're facing some difficulties. I want you to know that we all do it. We all have to do it. Every single one of us on this planet. There's no one who's perfect. I don't think that there is a way to be born into the world that we live in without facing some sort of pain, without facing some sort of suffering, without facing some sort of trauma. Um, Let me get the rest of these cards out, but um, I'm just being drawn to one of the dreams that I had last night. I think I was in a parallel reality of mine. It was like another lifetime. And it was really funny because, in the lifetime that I'm living, I didn't grow up with money. I mean, I guess more than a lot of parts of the world. I was born in the United States, but my family doesn't really have money. And so, you know, the sort of poverty energy is kind of big in my family. But in this other parallel lifetime of mine, we were incredibly wealthy. But what was so amazing to me, and this is actually a little bit of healing work of my own. I don't want to get too far into myself here, but I think it's a good metaphor. Um, I was struck by the fact that even in this wealthy timeline of mine, all of these problems that I had in childhood of not feeling like I belonged, of feeling bullied, all of these things, they were the same. They were still there. The exact same problems that I faced in my own life, I faced in this timeline where money wasn't an issue. And so that was just really eye opening for me. And I don't know, I feel like I needed to share that. So understanding that, like, um, oh yeah, I don't even remember what I was channeling there, but sort of that these problems that we face, right? It doesn't matter who you are, what lifetime you're living. I don't think that it's possible to come into this life without facing these sorts of difficulties because of where we are and who we are and what's happening. So it's okay to face these shadows within you. It is the kind of work that we all must do. The next card comes from the Fairy Tale Lenormand, and it is the lilies. Yeah, so this is great. These shadows are transformational, right? The lilies remind me of the lotus imagery, which in a lot of Eastern philosophies, the lotus flower, it is birthed in the muck, right? The lotus starts as a root deep underwater, under this mud and this murky, gross mud, right? Sludge. And so you have to start out with the sludge in order to birth and grow into this beautiful, beautiful flower that shoots out and buds on the surface of the water. And so, if you are in a mucky, murky period in this life, in this moment in life, and it's funny because the mandrake is also another root. So very roots are a big theme in this reading, as well as this sort of like shadowy murkiness. If you're in the murk right now, remember, sometimes you have to go through the murky transformation in order to bloom into this beautiful lotus flower. Next up, we have a card from this oracle deck that I actually don't know the name of. I found at a thrift store without the book and without any kind of guidance. It's just a bunch of images with words, and so sometimes that's helpful, I think, in giving an open platform and being whatever it needs to be. So this card says geranium, which is some more flower energy. Wow, which is beautiful. And we have this woman here who, I don't know, just for whatever reason, my mind is going to the Guan Yin, who is the Bodhisattva of compassion. Just some more Eastern imagery in that, Eastern philosophical imagery. In Chinese cultures, the Guan Yin is, like I said, she's the Bodhisattva of compassion. She is a spirit that we can all call upon for help in um, in times of need. The Bodhisattvas in Buddhist philosophy, they are people and spiritual beings as well who have decided to forego enlightenment in order to help others, right? That they are helping others, um, um, bridging the gap between unenlightened and enlightened states. And they have signed an agreement to help bring all sentient beings into enlightenment before themselves going into enlightenment, and or they've come back from enlightenment in order to help others reach that place. And so I'm just feeling that a lot from this card with this woman. And it's more blooming energy, right? She's helping these flowers bloom. So how can you focus on being your own bodhisattva, right, and helping yourself bloom? How can you help your own flowers bloom? If you are in the lotus phase of life, how can you develop a sense of spiritual connectedness, or even just a place of calm, right? If we're talking about grounding, how can you ground yourself and come into a place of calm where you can calm yourself enough to help yourself reach a state of peace? And it can be challenging sometimes, but developing the voice in your head who's there to say, you know, it's okay, we can slow down. I know that we're not feeling well right now, but I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm here for being positive and helpful. I understand that I'm going through challenging emotions. I need to feel these emotions very deeply, but even as I feel these emotions, there is an awareness within me that is present and outside of it saying, you know, even if I'm feeling these challenging emotions, I am here for myself. I know that I need to go through these things. I know that I need to understand these things. And I know that I will make it through these things, right? That you have that awareness within you, that capability and that connection. So next we have a card from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, and it is the Truth card. So yeah, so understanding deep inner truths, I think, is big. And then we have an eagle here as well. And so the eagle spirit, as well as the hawk, in many cultures, can be a deeply powerful spiritual symbol. It talks about being able to see things from the bigger picture, not getting lost in the particular small details of what's happening at the moment, of being able to remove yourself. And the imagery works like this: when you are on the ground, and that represents being in your own situation, being in the day-to-day struggle and problem that you're facing, it can become really easy to just see the small things that are around you and not have this larger awareness. But if you imagine yourself as a hawk, if you ask the hawk for its wisdom and help, you can take flight into the air. And then all of these problems that you're facing on the ground, you don't even see that anymore, right? You soar so high in the ground that it just looks like little tiny dots on the ground, little ants wiggling around, and you become into this sense of awareness where now you can see this vast landscape below you that's this huge perspective. And so this kind of perspective shift can really help you come out of thinking that you're in a dire situation. Even if you might be in a struggle, right? You might be able to start to see, well, you know, even if I'm in this small struggle, I see that there is so much more available to me, and I don't need to be stuck in this small little thing, because actually I see this vast landscape awareness, and if I so choose, being the hawk can just fly away from those situations and land on the ground somewhere else, right? So it's this possibility of leaving things, of moving into something else, and that's what these this larger perspective can help you see and understand. This larger perspective can help you to gauge from a new vantage point and leave a situation that maybe seems impossible to escape when you're stuck on the ground there. Final card comes from the Healing with the Angels Oracle deck, and it is forgiveness. Yeah, so I think that in the midst of this, as you are understanding things from a new perspective, as you are gauging a new understanding, as you're going through difficult inner work, healing things from your past, healing challenging situations you may have been through, forgiving yourself is a huge part of this, and forgiving others as well. Something about forgiveness that's important, especially when forgiving other people. It's important to remember that forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean forgetting, and forgiveness is a gift that you give yourself, right? So when you forgive somebody who's wronged you in the past, even if it's particularly if it's people who have done deep harm and damage to you, you're not saying, I condone what has happened. Not at all. Instead, you are saying, I forgive you because I no longer wish to hold this pain. I am forgiving you so that I can release this pain that exists within me, and I am letting that go. I am saying that you no longer control my mind, my day, my perspective. What you have done no longer affects me. I forgive you because I am letting go of this pain. I am not holding it anymore. And when you forgive yourself, it's actually kind of similar. You're saying, I may have made mistakes in the past. May have done things in my past that I am not proud of, but I'm forgiving myself because I understand that this was a different perspective that I held, and this was a different time and a different place, and I'm allowing myself to learn from this situation. I'm allowing myself to change. I'm giving myself the freedom with this forgiveness to become something else, to move into something else, to change my perspective, to change my being, to change who I am. And I'm no longer letting this one moment of time hold me in place. I am allowing the change that is the universe itself to move through me and move into new things. And yes, I may have made I may have taken actions that have affected my life very deeply that I am not necessarily proud of, or I may have been attacking myself in ways that have held me back in ways that I am not necessarily proud of. I have taken actions on myself that have blocked opportunities and situations from coming into my life, and I am not happy about that in my past. But by giving myself this gift of forgiveness now, here in the present, I am opening myself up to being able to move into a new frame of mind, into a new place of being, that where infinite possibility is truly possible for me. Because only in this present moment can we make the real lasting changes to our trajectories in life. And so, we have the capability of being anything and doing anything. But in order to really do that, we have to do this shadow work. We have to find these things that are holding us back in our subconscious most of the time. These things that have happened in our past, these situations, and the act of forgiveness can really help heal those things. And I think that there's a deep, deep level of inner healing work that you're going through right now, pile number 3, that is incredibly important work. And so the more that you embrace this healing and this forgiveness and this energy of opening yourself up to new possibility, you'll be able to move through your future timelines in ways that are conducive to your higher self, to the things that you have come to this planet to be. The version of you that is the least tied to pain and challenge, and the one that has learned the most lessons and is open to the freedom and lightness of being. And the only way to get to that place is to do that inner work, is to fearlessly and courageously, and I know it's hard, meet your shadow self where it is, and show it compassion and love. Right, that's where this forgiveness comes in. Instead of being afraid of the darkness within, or shaming the darkness within, you meet it with compassion, and you dissipate it. Instead of being at war with yourself, you open yourself up to uniting with yourself in love and compassion. And that is a healing force that allows you to move forward in life. So we have some tarot cards for you now. Blah, 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 blah. Let's do, this one first. This comes from the Herbal Tarot. I'll just read them all out, and then we'll channel more messages from them. We've got the Four of Wands, which is great. Four of Wands came out in the last reading, too. So if you felt a little drawn to pile number 2, maybe. It's a completely different reading, but you never know. We've got the Nine of Wands. Okay, wow, powerful. We've got the Justice card. And we've got the Empress. Okay, so wow. Okay. we got the Nine of Wands, and this is actually a message I gave to pile number 2 as well. So there's a little bit of synchronicities here, but the the 5, 7, and 9 of Wands to me all tell a story. They're kind of a triptych in this tarot, and so the 5 of Wands is this battle that's happening where everyone is stuck together and no one is coming out on top. There's just fighting each other, and they're all equally matched. The 7 of Wands, one person is finally coming out. They're still all fighting, but one person is finally coming out on top. You're finally gaining the upper hand. You might be still in the fight and in the battle, but you're coming out of it. The Nine of Wands is the completion of that. This person has left the battle. The battle has been fought, and they are now a battle-hardened soldier. And so this is kind of saying, you may have fought these battles in the past, and they've left you with this sense of feeling like almost like maybe when is the other shoe going to drop, But you don't have to feel like that, It's okay to let your past battles inform who you are. But ultimately, you don't need to be always on, right? And I think that's a big thing. Sometimes that can be incredibly exhausting when we've been through these fights, we've been through these challenges, and we've been through these emotional turmoil. And it's put us in a place where we feel like we always have to be on guard, where we have to sleep with one eye open. And this is coming in to say, you can form a place of peace for yourself, and that's where really coming to terms with these things can be helpful. Where this forgiveness energy and this clearing out of these inner things, and this is talk about PTSD as well. So if you have actual PTSD and stuff like that, I think it's important to acknowledge those things within, and understand too that it's okay to ask for help if you feel like there are things from your past that you need help coming through. I do want to say that therapy is incredibly helpful and important. I've been to a therapist many times in my life, and I just want to keep that open. These kinds of readings are really helpful for getting to the heart of something, but I am not a licensed therapist, and so I just want to recommend having somebody to talk to like that can be incredibly helpful. So that's just an aside, but you don't necessarily need that. But if you do feel you need it, I would just want to let you know there's no shame in finding a therapist, and in fact, therapy is incredibly helpful. So just moving on from that, with the 4 of Wands, it's saying, that there's actually this kind of homecoming energy that's opening up for you as you do this kind of shadow work, as you allow yourself to heal from these things. And I think there's some deep, deep inner emotional healing at work here. By connecting in to this 4 of Wands homecoming energy, it's like there's this opportunity now as you do this work to come home to yourself, right? To come back to who you were before facing the outside world. When we're children, we come into this world as our authentic selves. We come into this world 100% authentically, and we learn to diminish that over time. And so there's actually, it's a shame that we live in a society that does that. But on the other hand, it's a deep blessing that we still come into this life so deeply and authentically ourselves, because that's something we can channel and come back into. And so as you do this work, I think that there's some inner child work that can help you as well. By connecting in with your inner child, you can connect back in deeply to who this authentic self and version of you is. And you can bring that back into this moment, right? Once you do this kind of clearing and energy work, you open yourself up to that deep, authentic version of you. So be open to that, and be ready and willing for that to come in, because it wants that. And as you do that kind of work with the Justice card here, I think you'll find a better sense of balance. And with the Empress, I think you'll sense really reconnect into your own sense of creativity. So you'll be in a place of being really ready to bring into this world anything that wants to come in. And you don't necessarily have to be an artist type, but I think many people watching are. But you can also be anyone. We all, as human beings, have this deep, intimate connection with creativity, and I think that there's this this deep sense for you that that as you do this work, you will be aligned with these powerful creative forces for yourself. And I feel that there's this encouragement to really allow yourself to open up to this. The final 4 cards come from the this is the Wild Unknown Tarot. We have the Mother of Pentacles, which is the Queen of Pentacles in most decks. We have the Seven of Swords. Okay. We have the Four of Cups. And we have the Father of Pentacles, which is the King of Pentacles in most decks. Wow, that's powerful. You're being bookmarked with the royalty of abundance here. So as you do this work, right, that's what's coming in. So in order to really, it's like you have to allow yourself. I mean, you could do anything. I'm not saying have to's here. You do you, whatever you need to do. I'm not telling you what to do. But as you do this kind of inner work here, what it's doing is it's opening up and allowing you the ability to tap into the royalty of abundance, right? It's like it's putting yourself in a deeply balanced emotional place so that you can start building this abundance for yourself. And remember, abundance doesn't have to just be money, right? Because like I was saying at the very beginning of this reading of the dream that I was channeling, even with money, you don't necessarily, like, that doesn't necessarily buy you emotional stability, right? It's important to remember that. But this emotional stability will give you this place of feeling abundant in your physical life, right? And it can mean health. It can mean just a sense of ease. And so this sense of ease is coming from doing this emotional work, and it's letting go here of, with the Seven of Swords, I'm feeling it's letting go of all those people who have hurt you in the past. And I think that as I was talking about that forgiveness energy, with the Four of Cups, I feel like there is this sense of oh wait, no, Four of Cups is not. I was thinking Four of Pentacles. Hold on a second. Let me do some thinking. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. The Four of Cups is like, it's like not seeing the gifts that are coming in. And so when I was saying before about during the forgiveness energy here, how holding on to blaming yourself for things that have not worked out in the past, for opportunities that have not that you could have done, right? But you were blocked from this emotional plane. Um, it's important to remember that if you're alive, you have opportunities, right? The universe is always trying to give you gifts. And so as you do this inner work, you're freeing yourself up to have that higher perspective, like I was talking about the hawk spirit, to be able to see the gifts that the universe is constantly giving you and opening you up to. And in fact, it's the fact that you are looking at all of these things from the past that didn't work out, that's blocking you from seeing the possibilities and opportunities of your future. And so there's this beautiful opportunity in this to really open yourself up to the infinite possibility by going through and working through the shadow stuff. So anyway, pile number 3, I think that's the main reading here. Let me know what you think of it either way. This is a deeply, deeply powerful reading. I want you to know if you're going through difficult emotional situations right now. I mean, just looking at the planet and where we are, I think, like I said, we're collectively going through that, and the ramifications of difficult situations of the past on a geopolitical level are reverberating out around us. And I think that it's only, it only heightens that inner work that we're doing for ourselves. And even if you felt like you've already done this kind of work and you're getting this again, that's okay too, right? Like I want you to know, for me and myself, I'm going through further work on healing things that I thought I already set to bed, right? And it's okay when they come back. Meeting yourself where you are, I think, is the most important thing. And so, even for all of us who, feel like we've healed a lot of things, it's okay. It's okay to go back into certain things and say, like, oh, this is coming up again because it wasn't fully, like, there's some other aspect of it that I need to work on. And you know what? That's okay. I'm present with myself. And, sometimes things come back up in order to be released because we can't take them forward with us. And I think that's a big thing too, is like as we move forward in this reality, as we move, into a more spiritually healed place, the only way to do that healing is to let these things bubble up to the surface so that we can address them and work through them and move through them. And so I want you to know you're not alone in this. I think I said that before, but it's important to remember, this is a part of all of us. Every single human being on this earth has to do this work within, because we're all faced with these challenges. We're all faced with it, and so I want you to know that my thoughts are with you, pile number 3, and I'm wishing you the best. So. That was my reading for you. If you would like a private reading with me, I have them on the website. You can find that at junodrum.com. I am keeping the discounted readings open for a while longer. I don't have an end date for that. I think it's important for me to keep them discounted for people, particularly in this moment. So if you need a reading, they are available. And yeah, I hope that you are doing well. Anyway, pile number 3, I really do hope that you're doing well. Hang in there. I am holding the frequency of world peace myself. So, the more of us who can do that, the easier this can be. And we're in a challenging time, and that won't necessarily dissipate anytime soon. But there are so many of us united on this world, and I think it's important to remember that there are so many of us united. Anyway, pile number 3, I am wishing you well, and I hope you do well in life. And with the shadow work, my heart is with you. I've done it myself. I'm doing it right now. It's something that's we all got to do. Anyway, pile number 3. Catch you later. Bye. Hi there, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading. So this is going to be your reading for what do you need to hear in this moment? What do you need to hear right now? Before we dive in, a couple of things I want to mention. There was a raffle to win a free reading and a free care package from me. I announced the winners of those in the intro section of this video. So if you wanted to find out if you won, please go to the intro section of that video. Also, I just wanted to mention that my heart and my thoughts and my prayers go out to the Ukraine and to the geopolitical crisis that we happen to be in this moment. My heart also goes out to the Russian people who don't want this and feel powerless to stop their autocratic government. We are people of the world here, and regardless of what our governments do, we sometimes can feel powerless against those kinds of actions and things. And so, my heart goes out to the whole world right now in this time of crisis. And I just wanted to mention that. Obviously, this is a timeless reading, so if you're catching this way after, just know what we're going through at the moment. There's probably still messages for you in this reading, though. Yeah, with that, I'm going to dive right in. So this reading, I'm doing a little bit differently than some of my others because I pulled a lot of oracle cards. So it's going to be mostly oracle card based at first, and then we'll dive into the tarot to get some more understanding of things. But you chose the card with this bonfire, and it's like the power of fire is kind of what I'm getting from this just right off the bat, and I'll read the back in a second here, but um, Prometheus gave the gift of fire to people, right? I guess, and just the gift of fire and the tool of fire, being this cataclysmic transformational understanding of humanity that helped bring us to where we are. At least that's the classical view of fire, right? So symbolically, that's sort of what this bonfire is showing for me. So maybe that's kind of a lighting the fires in your own life. Follow the spark is the the sentence on the back of that. So yeah, I do feel like there's a bit of a spark of inspiration, I think, coming to you, pile number 4, or being offered to you in this moment. And let's take a look at some more cards to kind of figure that out. But it's definitely this moment of inspiration for you is palpable, is potent, and you really are being offered something from it. So I'm gonna just flip over all the oracle cards, and then we'll get into what they mean and stuff. First comes from the Forest Fae deck. It's a new deck I got, and it says it's the Mandragora Mother. Find the secrets hidden in the brambles. So this beautiful mother energy, finding secrets hidden in the brambles. So the woods is sort of like this inspiration might come from unlikely places in this moment. We have a card from the Fairy Tale Lenormand, and it is the Scythe. Okay. Scythe can be like cutting things away, right? And also it's used to harvest. So yeah, I feel like there's a harvest coming in here. Maybe some past things with the three of these together. It's like there's some past inspirations that are coming back. Some seeds you planted in the past are ready to sow. I feel like, and so there's this inspiration coming from past things coming back that maybe because they're hidden in the brambles, or maybe they're things that you forgot about, or things that you didn't plan, or things that former dreams of yours that you set intentions for years ago or months ago or time ago that you've kind of forgotten, and now those seeds that you planted at one point are coming back, and they're ready to be harvested. That's kind of what I'm feeling. That's exciting. Next comes from this one deck that I don't actually know what it is. I found it at a thrift store without the guidebook or any kind of definitions of it, so or the box or anything. It's just a deck, so it's just kind of got some open symbols. It says Demon Red Rainbow. Interesting. Oh, that's cool. So it's sort of like, look at this. We've got this kind of demon kind of trying to project energy outwards and kind of attach himself to this person, but this person has crossed his arms and has this beautiful protective heart chakra. So it's almost like you know I'm feeling like maybe this thing that didn't work out in the past, so we're getting a whole story out of this, which is interesting. These intentions, maybe they didn't work out before because you kind of had some difficult attachments going on. But at this point, I feel like you've awoken your own heart chakra and you've healed a lot of things. And now because of that, you're at the position where these things from the past can actually come back and work in your life. You have new inspirations. It's transforming those things into something different, something new. So there's this new energy that's harvesting maybe some things that had once happened and once worked out for you, but the situation didn't work, right? Or there was something about the situation that didn't make it happen, and so you took some time out to kind of do some soul searching, is what I'm feeling from this, and do some healing. And I think you have done some legitimate healing work here, and now. And now it's like you're in a much firmer place in yourself. So any of these kinds of things that were in the past that could have distracted you or stopped you or broken you down, you now have the power and the ability to walk away from those things, or those things that they become, cataclysmic problems become minor nuisances that are easy to swat away. It's kind of the energy I'm feeling, because you've built up this really deeply strong, powerful sense of self and powerful heart chakra that you're able to not get bogged down or brought down by the same kinds of things that maybe once had kept you so stuck and distracted. That's powerful. This is really amazing. Next card comes from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, and it's unlimited possibilities. Yeah, and I think that that's what's happened for you. Pile number 4 is now you're in a moment after doing this kind of healing, after doing this kind of work, that this inspiration is coming back to you and saying, hey, there are things in this lifetime that you want, and that are just deep down these dreams of yours, right? And these inspired actions are coming back because it's the things that don't go away, right? Because I feel like there maybe was a period of your life where you felt more connected to this, and then certain things happened, certain situations happened, and it really kind of got you lost in the woods a little bit, lost in the weeds, right? But now going into these weeds, like this one, finding the secrets hidden in the brambles from this one card, it's almost like you kind of had to go through that journey. I'm feeling for you, pile number 4. You had to kind of go out into the weeds and into the wilderness and go far from the things you actually wanted, just to get a better understanding of of who you are, of what you want, of what life means for you. And after doing that kind of work, you're now settled in a much more firmer sense of self, where you're able to actually go after those things again. And this is becoming, you're opening up into a moment where even if it's not the same dreams or the same projects, they're kind of like that same energy that maybe you once had, that same drive or that same confident passion towards something. Even if you feel like you got knocked down before, there's maybe something new coming in to say, no, that energy that you were going after this thing with was right for you, right? That energy was correct. That passionate drive, that passionate push and force towards something, that was real. That was a real thing, and that's actually an important power of yours that you have. That's a power that nobody can take from you. And now that you're more settled in self and less likely to be pushed and swayed by these outside forces, you're in a really strong, stable position to really start working on these projects again, or these pursuits, or these inspired actions. Which is really wonderful. Pile number 4. This is very beautiful, open period for you that's opening up right now, which is wonderful. It's unlimited possibility, like this card says. So next we have 2 cards from the Healing with the Angels Oracle deck. You have Trust. So it's really asking you to trust in yourself, trust in spirit, trust in your guides and angels. Maybe ask for help from your spirit team if you believe in that. You can they have to be invited in to help you, right? So you can say, to I open myself to the spirits and angels and guides who are here to help me, only the ones who are here to help me in this lifetime. I open myself up to my dedicated team, and I invite you into my life and into my reality, and I ask for your assistance in helping me open it up to these inspired actions. Help me see the actions to take. Help me open myself up to them, and I invite you to help interfere in my life in whichever way you see fit, that it is in my highest good and the highest good of all sentient beings, right? That's what I say to I try to open a lot of my days with that, because they can only help if you invite them in. But like I said, it's good to really kind of be incredibly specific on who it is you're letting in, right? Only my guides and angels and the spirit team that is helping me in this lifetime, who mean me well and mean the world well, right? Because there are many entities and spirits and non-physical beings that exist in the universe. And we want to be really targeted if we're going to work with them. That's just a learn the hard way kind of a thing from me. So just yeah, you can take my word for it, or you can learn the hard way yourself. It's up to you. But you do have say here. Important. This is just totally an aside, but if we're just talking about entities now, you have free will to choose and decide who you wish to work with. So that's an aside, but because this is your life. You're living your life, and you have free will, and it's important to remember that. You make your choices for you. Don't ever feel like you're powerless in your life, because you're not. This is your life, and you have the ability to choose and move in any direction that you see fit for yourself. And it's incredibly important for you to remember that. And I feel like you have now, especially with this kind of demon red rainbow card. I feel like that's something that you've done, is you've worked on that, and I feel like you have a much stronger sense of self now than maybe you ever used to. And anything that's happened in the past that swayed you in one direction or the other, be it anything, I think you're now a lot stronger and confident in who you are and what you want for yourself, that you're not so easily swayed in any direction. Next card comes from Healing with the Angel Oracle deck as well, and it is Truth and Integrity. So that's interesting. Yeah, I think that, be in your own integrity in this, and I think you've kind of developed into that, and follow the truth. I think that's the biggest thing. Follow your own truth, right? Follow the truth that's within you. I think that you have a deep power to follow your dreams and bring in this inspired action. And so it's you're being asked to trust that, right? Trust your inspired actions. and follow the truth of your soul. Be in your own integrity all the time, and the more that you can be in your own personal integrity, the more that things will work out in your favor, because you're allowing the world to, or the universe to help you and aid you along in your path, and you are not being swayed by these outside forces so much. When you're in your integrity, nobody can take that from you, right? It's like it becomes less about having to worry about people having power over you, because when you always speak the truth, um, you know, then there's nothing to hide, and nobody can take control of you, because you are 100% doing being in your integrity all the time, right? And that's what being in the truth and taking the high road gives you. It gives you that power. And it's not always easy to take the high road in a situation, but the more that you can do that and practice that for yourself, the more you can come to this sort of understanding that that you are totally and completely in your own power, and no one can ever hold anything over you if you are being in your integrity. So next we're going to do the tarot cards here. So the first up comes from the Herbal Tarot, and we have the High Priestess. I'm going to read a bunch of these first, like I did with the others. The Six of Pentacles, Pan, which is interesting. Pan is the devil in most decks, but I don't like necessarily that this card associates Pan with the devil. I think that's kind of not fair to the god Pan, but whatever. We've got the Emperor, and we've got the Two of Wands. Because the god Pan is just so fun and friendly and more like a forest sprite than anything else. And the devil's a jerk. So yeah, not a fun connection. But I think maybe that's a part of it too. Is sort of because you also have this the Mandragora mother here, and she's kind of got this, the green man sort of symbolism, this sort of Celtic sprites are very similar. Pan, I feel like, is very similar to that too. They're both forest sprites, and so there is a bit of this forest energy, lots of trees energies coming in for this too. So there's something to be said, I think, for you guys, pile number 4, about connecting into the forest, and maybe forest elementals have some help for you. Maybe there's some help in understanding. If you feel a little bit lost, or you feel a little bit like you don't know what these inspired actions are, or you want them to come in faster. Taking some time out and grounding in nature, just going into the woods or finding trees. If you're not in anywhere with wooded areas, even like a city street with trees, if you can spend some time standing next to and touching the tree that's closest to you, right? Anything like that, working with that kind of nature can be deeply helpful, right? So, with the demon red rainbow, though, and the devil coming in, it really is. I think that there's this sort of I feel like this is past energy for you. I feel like maybe, like I was saying before and channeling before, I feel like that there were moments in time where you kind of fell out of the inspired drive that you used to be in, right? And that maybe at one point you felt like you could do certain things, or follow a certain path, and you had these inspired understandings of things, and that kind of fell away because of outside forces, right? The devil in tarot doesn't necessarily mean like an actual literal devil, right? It means more like this sense of being bound. What are the things that bind you, right? What are the things that exist in your life that you're using, not necessarily using it as an excuse, but kind of, that you're telling yourself these things are getting in the way, and because you believe that they're in the way, they are, right? Because a lot of times in tarot, the devil is depicted of two naked people who are shackled to the devil, but the thing about those chains is that they're not even really closed. So those two people could easily just kind of open those shackles and walk away, but they've chained themselves to this devil energy, and that's kind of a part of the actual devil symbolism too. The people who are deeply following that too, which I think is dumb, but I mean, you do you, right? But the people who do that too is just you know, it, you've chosen this chaining yourself to this edgy, energy that's just stupid. It's like actual edge lords. You know what I mean? Like the people on the internet. Like an edge lord is like a person who's just like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And like it's all kind of stupid in my mind. I mean, because it's like it's a perspective thing. You know, the more that you tell yourself that you are blocked or you are stuck in a cosmic prison, you know, or whatever it is that you're telling yourself, that's this nihilistic fever dream, that's going to be your reality, right? So if you convince yourself that you are chained, um, then you won't see the unlimited possibilities that are actually in front of you, right? And it takes this energy of saying no to this with this demon red rainbow and really opening your heart center, connecting yourself back into the heart, because the heart is connected to this heart-centered energy. Um, it's connected to the sense of the interconnectedness of all things and all beings, right? The devil energy, I think, represents separation. It represents peak separation. It's ultimate separation, saying that um, you are uh, um, less than, lower than everything and everyone else. And because of that, that gives you the right to burn everything down, right? That's kind of the devil energy in my conception of it. Whereas in reality, separation is false. So even people who feel like they're chained to the devil, right? And like I said, the devil in tarot, it's a symbol. It doesn't. You don't have to literally believe in the devil, right? Um, but we are talking about entities and beings here too. So I mean, take it as it resonates. Um, a lot of it is sort of this: we create these beings and entities, and then they create us in a certain sense, right? It's like a feedback loop. At least that's how I see things sometimes. And so it's like, you know, this sort of collective entity of quote unquote the devil that we all have put in time and energy conceiving of, you know, uh, is just it's a representation of all of the things that we feel are keeping us back, right? As people, as human beings, it's like the metaphorical representation of that, right? And the thing about that is that it's like it's separation embodied, right? But separation is false. And what do I mean by that? I mean, like, actually deep down, um, especially physical, mental, spiritual, all of it, we exist interconnected with one another, because I mean we're all literally made out of the same things, right? If you go down far enough, we're all just empty space and atoms, and those atoms are energy, they're wave particles, so we're all just wave particles existing together. um, that's what we are. So we're all interconnected in that, literally, physically, across the universe. We're just the universe thinking about itself, right? And that there's actually a deep power in that interconnectedness, if you allow yourself to see that. And that's a part of when you connect into your heart center and you connect into the interconnectedness of all things, you start to think about how, you know, just how that separation of it is false, and that we all share similar experiences. When one person suffers, we all suffer. When one person triumphs, we all triumph. We're all one thing experiencing itself. We're all one universe experiencing itself in an infinite amount of ways. And so that's a tangent. Coming back into that, once you allow yourself to start to see that and feel that interconnectedness, the chains break down, the separateness breaks down. You really do have an unlimited amount of possibility coming forward. And with the Six of Pentacles here, that talks about sharing energy. So maybe the more that you come into this, the more that you'll start to see that you are not alone, right? The more you start to see that these inspired actions and ideas, maybe they have the ability to help not just you but the whole world. And that's where there's this importance coming in. It's like there are inspired actions by you being 100% in your truth and your integrity, and following this and trusting yourself and following these intuitive actions and these intuitive forces and these inspirational drives that you have. You're not just going to be helping yourself, but these things are going to help the whole world. And so it's like you don't you can choose, like I said at the beginning, you can choose anything for yourself. You don't have to follow this, but by following this, you're opening yourself up to giving back to the world too. It's like this isn't just going to build you up here. This isn't just going to stoke your own ego. This is gonna help the whole planet. And by helping yourself, I've been training in some Tibetan Buddhist meditation. I do meditation, and I've been doing it for a while, but I've been learning some Buddhist techniques or some Tibetan techniques recently that have been pretty helpful for me. But one thing, I had a big epiphany because in some of the Buddhist meditation that I've been learning, it's really important for you to set an intention beforehand and then to dedicate the the meditation session afterwards. And the dedication is usually, I dedicate the positive karma generated from this meditation to all sentient beings. And I thought about it, and it really dawned on me that that by me dedicating the good karma to all sentient beings, I'm also dedicating it to myself, right? Because I myself am also a sentient being. So it's the same kind of energy. I think the Six of Pentacles, it's like this thing that you're going to be doing by building yourself up here, by trusting yourself and really going after this thing. Maybe feeling selfish was a part of what was keeping you back. But if you think of it in this sense, it's like, I'm going to be helping myself and the world together, right? I don't have to think of this as a me versus everyone else kind of a thing. If I'm helping all sentient beings, if I'm dedicating myself to help all sentient beings here, which I'm not necessarily saying that you're doing, but it's something that I do. But if I'm doing this, right, I'm not just helping everyone else and not myself, I'm also helping myself too. And there's an importance in doing that and making sure that your actions are reciprocal in that way. Don't think of yourself as separate, right? You are interconnected with all sentient beings. And if you agree to try to work towards helping all sentient beings, you're not just helping everyone else and not yourself, you're also helping yourself. And I think that's an important thing to remember. You have the Two of Wands, which is like journeying, setting sail, going off. Maybe there is some actual journeying that's for you in this, but I do feel like by following this inspired action and being in your Emperor energy, because you have the Emperor here, you're going to be building something and moving towards something and creating this empire for yourself that's big. And so this inspired intuitive period is where you start to see all of the possibilities for yourself. So be open to that, Don't feel like you have to do this all at once. This is opening yourself up to the long term, the bigger scale, opening yourself up to the reality, the larger reality that exists all around you. Final cards come from the healing. No, this is some deck. Sorry. I'm blanking on it. I use it all the time though. But anyway, we'll just read the cards. You've got the Eight of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles. Wow, yeah, okay. Big Pentacles energy. Ace of Wands. Yep, there it is. Okay. And the Nine of Cups. Yeah. Oh, this is beautiful. This is really beautiful. So, like I was kind of saying, I did feel there's a bit of abundance energy coming from this, a huge amount of abundance energy coming from this, right? But right now you're in the building the web stage, right? Because we have the spider web here. You have to build the web to catch the flies. So right now you're going to be building, right? You're building this empire for yourself. You're conceiving it, and you're setting the web. You're setting your intentions, and you're moving towards that. And so it's a new beginning for you, a new beginning towards your passions and your inspirations and your drives with the Ace of Wands, but also towards financial abundance, physical abundance. Maybe moving is a part of this too, creating a new place to be. With Ace of Pentacles sometimes can talk about moving to a new place. It doesn't have to be, but with the Two of Wands there too, or maybe travel, something like that. Take it as it resonates. But there is this new opportunity towards building this abundant energy for yourself here, pile number 4. And it's really coming from all these things. And I didn't mention it before, but you have the High Priestess here too. So there's this deeply powerful connection to spirituality and to the universe. And like, I feel like it's very intuitively driven. So, these inspirations are being co-created for you with the universe is wanting to work with you, and I feel like you're deeply intuitive to be able to connect into that. And so trust that intuition, trust these inspired actions, trust these the thoughts that are coming that are showing you the way. And with the Nine of Cups here, this is the Wild Unknown Tarot, by the way. I remembered the Wild Unknown Tarot. With the Nine of Cups here, it's showing you that by doing this, you're going to feel so proud of yourself, right? This is something this is gonna aid in your ability to deeply feel interconnected with yourself, with the universe, with all things. It's going to help you feel like this sense of what do you call it? This sense of completion, yeah, a sense of self. Um, you're going to feel really good about yourself, right? You're going to feel like you found your way in life, and that's going to bring you a lot of happiness with this. So trust it, trust it. And I got a horn outside for confirmation. Trust yourself. Trust the inspiration that's coming to you. Don't feel like you have to make this all happen at once. This is new energy coming in. So this is like planning stages. This is like, oh, I see this big picture thing. Okay, well, and now I'm going to start taking some steps towards it. Remember, you can only do things one step at a time. You don't have to do everything at once. You don't have to have every step covered. You don't have to have a contingency plan for X, Y, and Z and beyond. It's just a matter of being open. Don't feel overwhelmed by this possibility, but there's something huge coming in for you. So be open to it, be ready for it, be willing to let it come in, and go with the flow in it. Be in your truth and in your integrity, and nothing can get in your way here. This devil phase is over because you know who you are. You know what you want, and when you know what you want and who you are, people can't pull a fast one on you. It's a lot harder for people to try to control people who know what they need, because those people are more willing to walk away from situations that aren't helping them go for that, right? So be in that, like having an end goal can be deeply important in not getting lost in tricky situations, right? So be open to following these inspirations, and know that you can achieve anything. You have unlimited possibility with your lifetime, right? This lifetime is an unlimited opening to create anything for yourself. So be open to that. Be open to allowing any infinite possibility to come in for you. And yeah, that's a big thing. So anyway, pile number 4, I'm going to leave you there. This is a good reading. This is going to make me feel good. This is a big pump you up reading, which is great. So I hope you feel pumped up. I feel pumped up from this reading. So that's awesome. I love that. Anyway, pile number 4, I'm going to leave you there. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you would like a private reading from me, they are available on the website. You can find that information at www.junodrome.com. I'm continuing to keep my discounted readings open for the time being, and I don't know when I'm going to stop that. I'm going to keep them discounted for a little bit now because I think the world needs more help. So if you need more help, my discounted readings are available for you. You can find all that at junodrome.com. And yeah, thank you so much, pile number 4. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that reading serves you well, and I will talk to you later. Bye.